Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit, Brexit Britain. In Brexit Britain, I wonder how you could get maybe alcohol, a big knife, a couple of guns into Downing Street. Perhaps putting them in a suitcase with wheels and rolling them straight in the main gate. ISIS and Al Qaeda, right? These guys are still wearing backpacks, right? They should just use a suitcase with wheels. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So, we are Novak Djokovic, right, has finally had his ass deported from Australia, right, and his ass won't be allowed to go back to Australia for the next 3 years. But you know what it's going to be in it, because they had to probably find some way of stopping Novak, right, from taking the titles for the 10th time, because I think he'd probably be the first ever person that's done that. So they had to find some way of stopping his ass. But I'm quite sure, yeah, probably by next year, yeah. He might be able to, he might be able to go, because obviously Australia have got this massive thing, yeah, with people that are vaccinated or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But especially with this new Omicron variant, yeah, we don't know whether or not, because they're not giving us the real figures, yeah, of how much people who are unvaccinated, yeah, are in hospital with the new variant. Do you know what I mean? Because we know that we know there's still some other variants still about. Do you know what I mean? But it's looking like, yeah, that this Omicron variant is going to just is going to be the one that completely takes over. And then if you get another variant, yeah, based on this Omicron, yeah, then that is probably even going to be weaker, right? So then, right, by that time, yeah, will, right, unvaccinated people need to be vaccinated? Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't. So none of us know what that situation is. And plus, as I said, yeah, they're not telling us, yeah, the true figures, yeah, of people who are unvaccinated that are in hospital with the new Omicron. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I don't. So none of us really know where we stand. But by the time, I think probably by next year, by the Australian tennis tournament next year, yeah, the rules may well have changed enough. But Djokovic, he's got to, he's got to go to, like, I think the French Open, right? They've got Wimbledon, and there's a couple more in between as well. Do you know what I mean? So so all of these tournaments are going to be going on, and we're going to have to see how other countries actually do it. Because remember, Australia, yeah, are the strictest, right? If Djokovic has come to Britain, yeah, right, Djokovic could have just probably walked straight through Heathrow or Gatwick, yeah, and been on the underground in 15 minutes, right? If it was Great Britain, and that was in the height, right, of the coronavirus. That's when we was in lockdown. Djokovic could have done that over here. Right? So the Australians has handled things a lot different to how we've handled things. Right? So they've thrown Djokovic's ass out. Right? And in Greece now, people who are over 60 years old, yeah, same coronavirus thing again now, right? If you're over 60 years old and you're not vaccinated, yeah, you're going to get €100 fine a month. Do you know what I mean? So again, do you know what I mean? They're not really giving people much. They're not giving, and it's strange, yeah, because the vaccine in Greece, yeah, is not compulsory, but the fine is compulsory, right? If you don't have the vaccine, yeah, you get the fine. That's it. Do you know what I mean? Right? But the vaccine, but they say, but you have to take the vaccine if you don't want to, but we're going to fine you if you don't, right? So yeah, so that's what's going on over there, So again, as I said, yeah, about this, we don't know, right? We really don't know, yeah, where these variants are going to go to, right? And how this coronavirus is going to end up, right? When because most of these governments are now are saying, well, this is something that we're going to have to learn to live with, right? So that's what most of these governments are saying now, right? But even in France and places like that, they're restricting access to a lot of different stuff. Do you know what I mean? So far, I'm surprised, that the none of the Brexiters have linked this, but because all the EU countries, are coming out with their own individual stuff, like Greece has come up with that all by themselves, right? To find the over 60s, they've come up with Greece, come up with that all. It's nothing to do with the EU, right? But I'm surprised, none of the Brexiters, right, haven't tried to link that to Brexit yet. This is what I'm surprised about, right? Now we have got Boris Johnson, Oh, actually, we've had a massive tsunami in Tonga over the weekend, right? And that tsunami, has made waves higher, right, in so many different countries around the world, right? Right through to the Caribbean, right? Obviously Australia and New Zealand, right? But we've had even higher waves over to Britain. They said our waves have been slightly higher in Britain. Do you know what I mean? So our waters as well. The waves have been slightly higher. Do you know what I mean? So but if you saw this thing, I don't know if you've seen this thing, but if you see this thing, it's a real spectacle, because it was an underwater volcano, right, that erupted, right, and when you see like a proper mushroom, right, underwater. Right. Obviously, I don't think they're going to have. They could show you it from the sky, but I doubt they'd have anything that was under the water at the time that could have showed you the actual show. Because obviously, I doubt it unless they knew that this might happen, right? Then some smart aleck would probably have a camera, and then would the camera? How would you have to wonder, how would the camera do, right, in an underwater volcano? Right, it probably wouldn't go too well for the camera, but so we're probably not going to ever see any pictures from like under the water, from underneath the water, to actually see the actual thing itself. But from above, it's a real spectacle, right, of what nature can really do. Do you know what I mean? That's what I've always said. It's strange how human beings like want to just murder each other, on a daily basis and all this shit. And when nature's ready, nature just say, you know what, no. You know what, we're just going to come and take. There's thousands of you we need to take. When nature's ready, whenever it's ready to do that, it does that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about like any injuries or death count in Tonga itself, but I do know that there's been a lot of devastation. Actually, I heard a story of an English woman who's been swept away in her house. Some English woman's living over there, and I think she's got some type of kennels or something like that, and her, I believe her house and her dogs and her have all been wiped out. Well, they're looking. They haven't been seen since they've been taken. Since they was taken by the tsunami. Do you know what I mean? So, all we can do is hope that that things might, that she might have been saved somehow along the line. She just hasn't been in touch with the authorities as yet. Right. So today, Boris Johnson, right, is coming out swinging because obviously we've got more party revelations again. Do you know what I mean? There's something about he was at he had a party just before Christmas 20 I don't know. Well, I don't know. Just before Christmas, probably last year, he had a party, and he made a speech at this one. Right, so it's a new revelation that's come out. Do you know what I mean? But you see, Boris Johnson, he's now right. He's now on one called Operation Red Meat, right? But first of all, we've got he had Operation Big Dog. First of all, you think, I wonder who was that to come up with that, because either Wilfred, right, or Larry the Downing Street Cat. And you know something, I haven't seen Larry the Downing Street Cat for ages, because I think Larry's just like, you know what, I won't be involved. I don't want to be involved in none of this shit. What's going on? Do you know what I mean? Larry's just like, you know what? Bring back Theresa May. Do you know what I mean? I could sit on her lap. Right? This guy, nah. Larry's just like, you know what? So it's either Larry or Wilfred, that's come up with Operation Big Dog. Because whoever come up with that, you think to yourself, seriously? Is that where you're going? What do you think you are? Heidi Klump doing a tune with Snoop Dogg. And that's true, by the way. Heidi's done a tune with Snoop Dogg. I think it's a Rod Stewart classic as well. Right? So, you should maybe, I don't know, maybe you should check that out. Right? Yeah, so first of all he come with Operation Big Dog, yeah, and now we're on like Operation Red Meat. And Operation Red Meat, yeah, is, you know what? I'm gonna throw some red meat to the racists out there. All right, he wants to send the Navy to deal with the migrant crossings. All right, so he wants to send the Navy, yeah, after people, right, who have come from Syria, right, or Libya, or Iraq, or Afghanistan, right, countries that these motherfuckers have fucked up. That's what they want to do. Seriously? So Operation Red Meat, right? That's where he started. Yeah, we're sending we're going to send them after the migrants, right? But you know what happens, right? Whenever Britain, right, sends out war vessels, right? What do you think the French are going to do? The French are going to say, "Oh, just we stay back. We don't want to get involved." No, the French are going to send out their motherfucking warships too. Right? And then where are we? Right? Soldiers against soldiers. Well, sailors against sailors. Right? That's a motherfucking standoff. It's a motherfucking Mexican standoff. And I ain't seen no Mexicans up in there. But that's what's going to happen. We're going to have a massive standoff. Right? So you think to yourself, well, why would you, because it's Operation Red Meat, save Boris Johnson? Boris Johnson needs his ass saving now, right? Because one thing about something, yeah. You can take the absolute piss out of the British public in many, many ways, right? But don't fuck with their parties, right? Don't you be keeping motherfucking parties. Right? While, you know what, yeah? Our fucking 16-year-olds couldn't go to their fucking 16-year-old proms, you motherfucking fools. Right? You had people standing outside of crematoriums saying to people, no, you can't come in because you know what, the rules are the rules, so you can't come in. Right? People, right, could not celebrate their sweet 16, 21, 25, 30. After that, yeah, you ain't celebrating shit. Right? People couldn't celebrate all these things. Right? People getting married with 2 people in the fucking room when they wanted 600. Rita Ora gets a fucking 10 motherfucking grand fine. But you know something? Let's just throw some red meat, right, to the British public, right? And you know something? He might just get away with it. Because, we're in Brexit Britain. And in Brexit Britain, right, the level of racism it takes for you, right, to vote to remove your own freedom of movement. Right? At that level, right, of racism, right, anybody can convince you to do anything. Well, but then we've got the parties. And the parties seem to be the thing that's really doing it into Boris Johnson, because Boris Johnson's now coming out with all sorts of different nonsense. What does he think the Navy is going to do? Maybe machine gun these little inflatables, or go, maybe just go with just go up to it discreetly with a Stanley knife while it's in the water, cut that shit with a Stanley. Maybe shell the motherfuckers. Don't know. What does he think? What does he think the French reaction's going to be? Right, all of this, right? Because you know what, you couldn't go in and be a decent prime minister. So this is where we are. He's going after the BBC. Want to freeze the licence fees. going after them hard now, right? You know, it's, you know, he's sending Nadine Dorries out to get them, because all these things, yeah, is red meat for the right wing. Do you know what I mean? You think to yourself, you know, the BBC, yeah, is one of our greatest institutions in this country. Right, and you know, the thing is, right, you know, with the BBC, yeah, if they've got, you know, if say they've got someone in speaking about the EU, right, and most of the time they have an expert, because that's what they'll have an expert, right, and then from you know, from the Brexit side they'll have maybe Nadine Dorries, right, or and the EU side will have Pascal Lamy. You think, well, he's an expert on the EU, right, and you're not, right? But so the BBC have to balance it out. Whatever it is, the BBC always have to balance it out, right? So they know, right? The BBC know, right, that they've got to have someone on there, right, who can tell a whole lot, who could just say a load of bollocks, just say what they want, just lie. Right. And you'll have an expert on the other side of the subject, right, who's telling you the you know, the points of views from the expert points of views, and then you'll have the person on the other side who will just be saying, oh no, when we leave, right, we can still have exactly the same deal. I mean, we can have our cake and eat it. And that's the attitude. That's been the attitude of this country, yeah, ever since Boris Johnson said that about, I mean, you know, that we can have our cake and eat it, because that's been their attitude. So that's why we are. That's exactly why we are where we are. Yeah, that's why we are. Yeah, begging the EU for you know, to try and get what we had before. Because that's what these guys are really. That's what these guys are secretly doing. They're begging the EU so to try and get what we had before. You've got the things like the farm subsidies. Right? The farmers who voted for Brexit are now just finding out, right, that, you know, in 5 years' time, right, whatever farm subsidies they're getting, yeah, and they're going to be getting, I think it's something like 53% less than they was getting from the EU in farm subsidies, right? That's what they're going to be getting, right? And in 5 years' time or whatever, they're going to be getting nothing. Right? But they didn't, you know, obviously the farmers was too thick, right, was too stupid and too fucking racist to realise, yeah, that voting, right, to leave the EU, right, would only result, right, in you losing your farm, or you could rewild it. You know, because the British government said they're going to be handing out, you know, subsidies or whatever for people to rewild their farms, right? But what does that mean? That means less. That means less food, right, grown in this country, right, to go into our food chains. That's all that means. Doesn't mean anything else. Right? So that's where we are. That's where we are in Brexit, Britain. Right? You know, the farmers are absolutely crying out. And if you notice, right, the fishing, you know, the fishing crisis with the French, right? There's no more even talk about it, because secretly they've just given all these licenses because they knew they had to, and they knew they had no choice. Right. But anyway, guys, I've got to go now because I've been like 18 minutes in and I've said, you know what, I'm not doing all these motherfucking long ass videos anymore, right? 30 odd minutes, right? That's some crazy shit. Okay? Anyway, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.